Take out the warp. Cut a 2-meter thread. Measure with a tape. Our 2-meter long string is ready. Remove the large hole needle. Thread through the large hole needle. Thread is long on one side and short on the other. Start from the far left. The first hole above is threaded from bottom to top. The thread on the back leaves about 10 centimeters. The first hole below is threaded from top to bottom. Turn to the back. Knot the thread and fix it. The knot should be tightened. You can tie a few more knots to fix it. Cut with scissors. Leave about 5 millimeters for the short thread. Put the thread at the back into the hole above. Flip the board back to the front. Then go through the second hole on the top from bottom to top. Tighten the thread. Pull it down and the second hole goes through from top to bottom. Tension. And press the line with your index finger next to the hole so the thread will not loose. Through the third hole below from the bottom up. The third hole above goes through from top to bottom. Keep threading like this. Remember to press the worn warp with your index finger. Keep threading. You can see that it is wearing a single layer of longitude. It's wrong if there's a double warp. Keep threading until the thread is worn through. Change the line again. The thread of the entire braided board should be slightly tighter, not too loose, not too tight. The bottom is too loose and uneven. It is easy to pull the board off if it is too tight. The thread is short when weaving here, and we start wiring. Turn to the back and tighten the thread. The line segment that goes through the previous hole in the middle. You can pull it up a little bit with your hands. Through. Tighten and wear it again. Pass through the coil at the same time. Tension. Repeat what you just did. Tie 2 more knots. Tighten to cut excess thread. Leave about a centimeter of thread so the knot is tied. Continue to crop 1 meters of thread in the same way. Go through the knotted line first. Leave 10 centimeters of thread at the tail to tie and fix. You can tie a few more knots to fix it. Pull the knot into the hole above. Short thread cut. Pierce back to the front from the adjacent hole on the side. This completes the wiring once. Turn the braided board back to the front for threading. Keep threading the same way. When the line is too short in the back, it's all wide the same way. Until the warp threads through this braided board. After wearing it all, turn it over to the back and tie the knot. Go up through the line segment. The method of tying the knot in the middle is the same. You can wear a few more stitches to fix it. So the woven version of the gold thread is worn. Next, take out the bean green lagy wool as the background. Cut 2 meters of noodles. Remove the long needle. Thread the thread into the needle. The tail line is also long on one side and then short on the other on the worn gold thread. This hole at the bottom. Start with the second hole. It is the distance between the second hole and the third hole. 4 rows are inserted smoothly between the 2 holes. Add another hole on the left and right sides. Similarly, the blue holes pass through 4 rows smoothly, and so on. Wear up smoothly. The bottom hole is to the right, inside the first hole. Press the wire of the first hole on the right first. Pick the middle line. Press the line of the first hole on the left. Just press and pick through. Pull the line over. The line at the tail leaves about 10 centimeters. The first line is worn. Move the thread to the bottom of the braid. Start making the second line. Continue to turn here and put the line back through. The first line and the last line are pressing. The second line is the first wire. Pick the second wire after pressing the third wire. Pick through again. Remove the comb. Sort the line down neatly. Adjust it. The second line is worn. Then the third row is worn the same way as the first row. The same is first. Press the first wire on the right. Pick the line in the middle. Press down and the first line on the left goes through. Take a comb and comb it neatly every time you wear it. The third line is worn. The fourth line is worn the same as the second line. Pick first, then press, and then pick. Be careful not to pull the coils on both sides too tightly. If you pull too tightly, the warp will deform. So the fourth line is worn. 4 lines have been worn between the 2 holes. Then add a warp on each side. The last line in the fourth row is the pick. It's under the warp. Add a thread to the right first. It's to be pressed. It's above the warp. Then thread back. First pick up the gold thread added on the right. Pick after pressing. Press again and pick again. Also add a gold thread on the left. If the thread is twisted, remember to adjust it. So between the second hole and the third hole, the first line of plain weave is worn. First, the wool is below the warp. The second line is pressed first and then picked. Repeat this drilling method. Wear the second line. 4 lines of plain weave are also worn between the 2 holes. The second line of plain weave is worn on these 5 meridians, wear lines 3 and 4 plain weave. Third line. Now the 4 lines of plain weave are worn. The last wire is pressed. Then add a warp on each side. Because the previous line is the pressure line, add a warp above the warp to the right. This extra thread has to be picked up and passed through. Now to smooth the third hole to the fourth hole. Also weave rows smoothly, according to the law of stability in the previous line. Keep going up. Every line is staggered. Remember to add a warp on the left. The first row from the third hole to the fourth hole, just put it on. According to the same method, thread the remaining 3 rows on these 7 warps. In this way, all 4 lines of plain weave are worn. Do this over and over again. After the 4 lines are compiled, graduate slowly to the top. Add 1 thread to the left and right. When adding warp to the right, watch the last thread. Add more lines. Then make the next 4 lines of plain weave. In this way, the 4 lines of plain weave are worn again. And the last line is to add 1 more line to the warp. It goes under the warp. Continue to pass 4 lines of plain weave between the 2 holes. Continue to weave plain weave up in the same way. The line is short, then teach you how to wire. Cut another 2-meter thread. Tie the thread. Tighten the thread at both ends. Tail thread left 5 mm cut. So the wiring is done. Keep threading. When there is thread, slowly tighten it. Hide the knot on the back. Remember to adjust if it is in front. The line is short at the back. The wiring method is the same. According to the same method, keep knitting up until all the plain weave is worn. In this way, the 4 lines of plain weave are woven. Then go through the 2 holes in the middle. Also weave 4 lines of plain weave. It's tighter here. It is not easy to wear. Gently pick it up and pass it through with your hands. Keep knitting. It's about the length of a needle. Pull the line over. Put this line on. The left side is also not easy to wear. Gently pick up the warp. The middle 4 lines are done. Weave the plain weave on top up. The weaving pattern is 4 lines of plain weave between every 2 holes. Then decrease 1 warp on the left and right, will form symmetrical with the lower half. The bottom half is incrementing, the top half is decreasing. It's all knitted. Then thread the thread to the back to tie the knot. Weave the middle of the last line to the back. Adjust it. Leave no gaps. Turn to the back. Go around. Pass the Y through the coil. Tighten the knot to the bottom. Tie another knot. Such a knot is tied. Cut excess thread. The thread on the other side, not in the same way. You can take a large hole needle to assist threading. This one's in the middle. Thread the thread to the left to the back. In this way, the plain weave is all worn. Take out drawings. This drawing has diagonal lines at all 4 corners. Fold in half along the slash. After folding, put it on the braided board for comparison. The contrast is aligned with the outer border of the braided board. Probably. So this is where the lily of the valley might be. The part of the line can be cut with scissors. Take out the scissors. Cut from these 2 threads in the middle of the leaf. When cutting, this line is compared to the previous position. You can keep disconnecting first. Cut from the bottom of the leaf. Cut up mat first. The leaves just need to cut the 2 lines in the middle. Go to the top and cut the right one. Don't cut the top on the right. It won't draw well if you cut it open. So this is where the leaves are probably. Take the water sharpener and draw along the lines. Then prune the stems. Scissor branch top. Pay attention to safety when cutting. Don't hurt your hands by mistake. If it is not easy to cut, you can fold it first. Cut a small incision. Just open your mouth. The parts of the leaves are cut along the middle. Just know where the approximate location is. The small circle is also cut along the middle. The rest is cut in the same way. After all are cut, take out the water sharpener. Draw along the cut lines. You start with a line between the two leaves. Draw all the parts of the line. So it's all painted. After drawing, everyone put the drawings next to them for later use. You can compare the drawings while embroidering. You can also compare diagrams. Avoid embroidery mistakes. Take out the light green line. Cut a 1-meter needle. Remove the large hole needle. Thread the thread through the large hole needle. Tail thread, same long and short. The long end is not an end wound. It forms a coil. Thread goes through the coil. Wear it again. Tighten the coil. Tie a knot like this. Embroider and weave cadres first. Wear from the back forward. Embroider the left branch first with outline embroidery. Along the painted branches, go 1.5 centimeters up and wear it back. In the middle of the first line, it's right in the middle. Wear from the back forward. Remember the position in the middle of the solid line segment. Insert the needle 1.5 centimeters up and thread it back. Remember to embroider along the weaving dry on the left beforehand. In the middle of the second line segment, same position on the right. Wear from the back forward. The next line segment goes up 1.5 centimeters and goes through the back. Put the needle in the middle of the line segment and put it on. Embroider upwards in the same way. Each time it is on the middle right. Wear back to the front, just fix it to the top of the branch. The branch part is embroidered, then sew the small leaf part. The head has 2 leaves here. The needle above the line segment goes through the back up. Hold some strings in your left hand. Thread the needle back from its original position. There's 1 coil left over. Wear it back to the front where it is underlined. It's wrapped around the needle. The other top of the coil goes back to the back. Insert the needle from the bottom of the coil and put it on. Thread the top of the inner ring back to the back. So a small leaf is embroidered. Turn to the back. The line is not long enough. Can be knotted and circled. Through the coil. Knot waist against back. Go around, again. Cut the excess thread. Leave about 5 millimeters of thread, then turn it to the front. Continue threading in the same way. Embroidery leaf part. Wear it from the back up, first, and on the upper right there are 2 little leaves. Continue to wear it back from the same position. Leave a coil. Go through the painted point above. The coil is sheathed over the needle and pulled out. The other top of the coil goes back to the back. Insert the needle from the bottom of the coil and put it on. Thread the top of the inner ring back to the back. Sew a little leaf next to it. The sewing method of the leaves is the same. You can make it according to the drawings. Then make the small branches below. Just embroider a single thread here. Wear from the back forward. Go 1 centimeter to the upper left and wear it back. Wear it up diagonally to the next centimeter. Thread back at the top of the previous line segment. Let them connect. Put it on 1 centimeter down. Thread back from the top of the previous line segment. There are little leaves up here too. Embroider small leaves in the same way. When everyone is making, remember to compare the drawings and diagrams. Avoid making mistakes. And embroider the bottom in the same way. It's not very obvious after painting. Remember to make it according to the approximate location of the drawings. The left branch is all embroidered. The right branch is embroidered in the same way. The small leaves and flower branches are embroidered. Next, embroider the flower part. Cut a 1 meter wide stranding line. The same is long and short. Long tail knotted. Embroider flowers from the tops of small branches. The top of the branch has a drawn line segment. Put the needle on the left side of the line segment. The line segment here is not obvious. The line segment is inserted into the needle about 1 centimeter to the right. Back. Insert the needle to the left of the lower line segment and put it on. The one on the right of the line segment goes back to the back. 1 mm to the left of the lower line segment goes back to the front. Left hand pulling the wire. Cross these two sections at the same time. Pull to the back. There will be a large coil hole here. The needle goes through this coil. Adjust it. Pull it tight so it's worn for the first time. Repeat this action. Remember not to pull the flowers here too tightly. Fill the thread. This circle is all embroidered. Insert the needle in the position on the right and thread it back. This lily of the valley is embroidered. Continue to embroider up according to the same embroidery method. After embroidery, turn to the back. Make a knot. Here are 2 lilies of the valley embroidered. Remaining lilies of the valley also embroidered in the same way. Please refer to the location of the diagram to make it. Now the orchids are all embroidered. Then embroider the small buds on it. First embroider the 3 small buds in the middle of the right branch. Embroider one by one. It goes through a point needle. Left hand line. Needle in right hand. Wrap the thread around the needle. Exit the needle and insert the needle a little higher. Wear back. Tension line. Continue making buds at the point next to it. The method of making the buds is the same. Winding. Tighten the coil. Wear back. In this way, the 2 small buds are ready. Embroider another one. In this way, 3 small white flower buds will be embroidered. The small white buds are embroidered according to the position on the drawing. After repairing, turn it over to the back and tie the knot. The small buds are embroidered. The white part is done. Next, embroider the flower core part of the lily of the valley. Cut a 1-meter pineapple yellow thread and thread it well. Thread from back up. Put it on in a position inside the lily of the valley flower. Just like the buds do. You just run it around the needle. Then put it back on. Wear it back to the back position, probably a little outside the lily of the valley. Let the yellow flower core be exposed. Such a flower core is embroidered. Embroider another flower core at the water pavilion on the right. Now I remember wearing it from the flowers. The winding is a little bit on the left and goes back to the back. This flower core is embroidered. Continue to embroider the flower core in the flower above. Same embroidery. In this way, both flower cores are embroidered. Embroider the remaining flower cores in the same way. During the production process, if the line is short, turn it to the back and tie it in a knot. Take another thread and continue making. So the flower cores are embroidered. Next we do the leaves. Remove the long needle. Embroider the leaves on the left first. The long needle is inserted from the top of the line segment. Leave about 5 centimeters on the top. Pin out on the line segment. Take out the grass green thread. Cut a 2-meter thread. Thread the thread through the large hole needle. Longer tail knotted. Wear it from the bottom of the line segment. Pull the line through to the left. Wrap from the right side of the long needle to the left. Thread back from the same position at the bottom of the line segment. Then you have to stretch these two lines apart. Remove the large hole needle. Open the top line. Same goes for the bottom line. Take another large needle and prop the thread open. And then 0.5 millimeters up from the bottom of the line segment. Wear back to the front. Same right to left by passing the long needle. Thread back from the same position on this thread. Spread these two wires apart. When it opens here, you can use the large hole pins on both sides. First, adjust the large hole needle on it. This will be divided into 5 parts. It's full now. And there's a line in the middle. Fix the 2 wires above with the large hole needle above first. The large hole pin below is also fixed in the same way. The following 2 wires. From the same location at the bottom, it is the position of the needle for the first time. Wear from the back up. Also bypasses the long needle. Adjust it. This wire goes in the middle. And I started weaving plain weave on these 5 threads. Thread from bottom to top. First wire pick, second wire pressure, third pick, fourth root pressure, fifth pick. Pay attention when knitting. Don't hook the wool below. It's the same as wearing plain weave here. Pick 1 press. Pull up and move to the top position. Just lean against the top of the long needle. Just put it up. The last thread is to pick. To wear it back is to press it first and then pick it. Press again and pick again. Finally press through. Adjust it with a large hole needle. The last line in the second row is the pressure. The third line should be picked first. The third line is worn the same as the first line. Shuttle in this way. Line 4 is the same as line 2. Wool and wool depend on. Just stick together without leaving a gap. Repeat the first and second lines. Continue to thread down to the right. Be careful not to pull the thread too tightly when knitting. Just keep the normal tightness. Weave the thread in the same way. Knit the position against the needle. Adjust the position of the large hole needle. Keep knitting. There's not enough thread at the tail. Then teach wiring. Continue to cut a 2-meter thread. Tie the threads together. Same wiring method as before. Rubbery one's dodgy. Cut off the excess thread. Keep knitting. Hide the thread on the back. Don't pull it too tightly when knitting. Keep the curvature of the leaves. Go here and remove the large hole needle. Pay attention during the production process. Line on both sides. After all is worn, thread the thread to the back to tie the knot. Remove the long needle. Break up the leaves. In some places, the fibers of the wool will be tied. Just take scissors and cut them off. The leaf is bent down. Fold, add the arc. Take the line for fixing. Cut a 50mm thread. Take a look at the approximate location where the leaves are fixed. Count down from the hole in the middle. About the horizontal position of the fourth hole, the tail of the leaf bends down. About 5mm to the right of the fourth hole, the needle goes through the back. Go through the left coil at the top of the leaf first. Go through the coil on the right side of the leaf. There are 2 stitches through the top here. Fix a needle at the lower left of the leaf. Wear back. Adjust the bend. Make it look curved. Then fix the bottom part as well. About these 3 locations. Wear back up. On the side, wear back. Fix the positions on both sides. After fixing, turn it to the back to tie a knot and fix it. The leaf on the left is ready. The leaf on the right is done the same way. So does the leaf on the right. There's a mark of a water on it. Take a tissue and wet it. Wipe the position of the mark. Wipe up the leaks. The leaked water will be wiped off. So the kit is done.